think every single panelist has mentioned the East in certain comments, and yet it still comes down to Izmir, Istanbul, Ankara. I'd really like maybe for Mr. Kok to answer. You mentioned logistics as an issue for the East, but what size conurbations, what size cities and towns are you looking at in the East? And what do you see as the effects of the eastern border and the southeastern border, specifically Syria at the moment?
Well, first of all, when you look from the point of view of retail, I mean, the times that Turkey was Istanbul, Ankara, Izmir, I think we have left that behind already about 8 years ago. In our portfolio, we are managing out of the 10 projects, 6 are actually outside, located outside those 3 big cities. But what you see happening, I mean, of course, west-east, there is a gradient of logistics infrastructure, there is a gradient of also spending power, and as you mentioned, the closer you get to certain borders, also a risk perception definitely is also an issue. When, let's say, looking to the population size, I think, you know, that let's say the threshold size ranges basically cities from, let's say, approximately 150,000, 200,000 in the west, up to, let's say, approximately 500,000 in the east. So, I mean, there is a gradient, but for example, the Blackstone deal, which was closed with Redefco this year, one of the projects was Erzurum. Well, it's hard in Turkey to get further to the northeast than Erzurum. So, in that sense, the east is already there. But when it comes to risks, of course, Syria is a different dimension. I mean, we are actually building a project in Gaziantep, and if you climb the highest tower in Gaziantep, I think you can, you know, over the hill, maybe you can just see the Syrian border. I mean, the distance is approximately 60, 70 kilometers, so it's close. So far, it didn't really impact the economy too much, because in that particular region, the economy is very much production-driven, and it's very much based on exporting the products either to the rest of Turkey or through the port to international. So the impact on the economy is fine. And of course, Syria, there you have the question, how long will, let's say, the conflict in Syria take? Will it be concluded this year, or will it be a thing what concludes for what is going on for 10 years? I mean, that will impact the map. A different issue, of course, is let's say the Kurdish issue in the southeast, and there you see, of course, the closer you get to the Iraq border, and let's say really in the isolated parts of the country, the stronger that risk plays in business decisions. Where in general you see that local capital is way more courageous than, let's say, international capital. Yes. I mean, we are working on a development project in Diyarbakir, and there we see that actually the local retailers, local investors, and also even the local banks, they don't say no to the area, so there is the connection. Whereas from an international point of view, that's further away. So I think it's very diverse in that respect.
For Blackstone deal, as we were also involved, we should probably say that only one property in that deal was in one of the 3 cities, and it was in Ankara. Apart from Erzurum, there was another one in Manisa, and the third one was in Ankara. And there were still 2 land plots, one on the close to Izmir area, and the one on the Greek border. So it wasn't only all about this big cities. Yeah.